Happy Saturday. Oh my goodness. I am Kiana Sage and I guide people to peace. This video is about creating ripples. And I want to begin by saying, I am not a therapist and I am not a psychiatrist. I help people align to themselves within by creating, I'm essentially doing energetic healing. That's what it is. But how I do my healing is different than what I've seen other people do, and because I follow the patterns in the field that are impacting people consciously. And the first things I always do is see which is the strongest and what is causing the most disruption, and then start to readjust so people can find peace within themselves and start to navigate the field of consciousness with higher levels of awareness. So that is what I do. That is what energy psychology is. And I hope you find it helpful and supportive on your journey within. So today I want to talk about creating ripples. So we are always, hi Michelle, good to see you here. Yay, you made it. We are always creating ripples. However, if we are not conscious or intentional in how we're creating the ripples, we just make waves and we don't know if those are for the good or for the bad. So I'm going to use myself as an example of how I create ripples, and I've been doing it for years. And it's always through intention. So every single session I have had with clients for the last 15 years, I always start with, hey, Eric, yay, you are here. Good to see you. Meet my friend Michelle. Michelle's here too. What I was going to say is being intentional. Eric, you distracted me. I was happy to see you. Hey, Narden, good to see you too. Hey, Andres. So when you're creating ripples, you're always going to create them from your intention. When I'm working with my clients, and for many, many years, I always start with an intention. The intention is not to serve myself, but to serve the client and to give my client and every person I work with, whether it's in a class or individual sessions, I always want them to feel stronger within. So the tools I always share with them are always going to be aligning them back to the self. When you're creating ripples, you want to create the ripple that leads people inward to creating a stronger alliance within themselves so they serve themselves and others. So you can't be in service of others if you don't have alignment within. Otherwise, what you're creating is imbalances in the field. So you always want to create ripples from, number one, your intention, and number two, leading people back to themselves. And that doesn't mean that you're giving them your opinions, although that might be some of it. It means that you are giving them fundamentals that help them strengthen their inner alliance. So, how do I know that this works? I know that this works because I will get messages from clients that I worked with over 20 years ago telling me the things that I gave them as tools and techniques and ideas and suggestions. They remember them. They go back to my emails. They say they save my emails and they read my emails to see what I said to them. So you're creating ripples of influence when you are aligned to the person and helping them align within. If you're creating ripples that cause disruptions, that's a different kind of ripple. And is that really going to serve you? So the most important thing to know is that you're always, every change that you make to align within changes how the frequencies flow. So when you're changing how the frequencies flow, you're sending out that frequency. So For example, if you're somebody who's very intellectual and you want to adjust something and you're doing it from your head and you're like, okay, this is the strategy, I need to do this. The moment you take it from your head and bring it down into your heart and you use your heart frequency, that changes the field. It's much harder to shift and change when you're trying to meet people intellectually. I know we want to understand things, but things don't change from that frequency. They change from the heart. So if you're wanting to change something, you want to make sure you're bringing it into your heart frequency. That's what creates the ripple. The heart is a portal and a vortex of energy that allows you to become congruent within much faster. That means if you have anger, you want to take it and feel it in your heart. The heart is going to help you transmute anger. If you're feeling sadness, you want to feel it from the heart space. You want to be an acknowledgement of it and feel it from that space, and it will change everything. So now when you're creating ripples within your family, it's important to understand to be an observer, because we have judgments and ideas and thoughts about our family. Okay, so I just want to see if there's any questions about creating ripples and how to do it. It's really simple, super easy, but we complicate it. So if you have any questions about how to create a ripple, put it in the comments and I'll look and see what you got. Horses, this is about creating ripples in life. And as you know, a horse creates a certain frequency. And if you're connected to that horse, well then you're going to change forever. Christo, how to stay calm? Well, calmness is something that comes from within. So if you want to stay calm, you want to recognize that when you're not calm, it's always going to come from being into your head and in the mind and in the spirals. So if you want to be calm, what you want to do is start to disconnect from the mind and connect fully and totally to the heart. Now that's a practice, that's a training. So the more practice you become in your awareness of, oh, I'm in my head, oh, let me connect to my heart. And at first you might do that 50, 60 times a day. And take a breath, breathe into your heart. You could even put your hand on your heart. That will help bring your attention. When you're connecting to your heart, I think a lot of people think they need to lay down, they need to meditate. No, you can do it awake. You want to be able to do this while you're awake. Just breathe into the heart, and that will help to calm you. Now, there are a lot of things that cause the instability in the field that will cause you to not be calm. One of the hacks that you might want to take is there's an herb, and it's called ashwamaka. Ashwamaka will help. Ashwagandha will help. Chamomile tea all day long will help. Those have properties in there that will help keep you calm. Chamomile tea is not going to make you fall asleep. It's going to make you calm. You want to be able to calm the mind, but you don't want to be reliant on herbs outside of you to do that, because it really does require a training. So I hope that helps you. I think that's a good question. I'm just looking to see if there's questions here. Scott is creating ripples in the pool. Okay, Scott, you do that. Water is a great transmuter of energy, so play with it. VIK47, Vic47 is saying, do you mean empathy? No, I mean intention. So being intentional. So when I'm working with my clients, I always state an intention before each session to be in service to oneness. That's first and foremost. to serve their highest good, not what I may want for them, but what is best for them. And when I am working with clients, I always try to give them functional tools that lead them back within themselves, that make them stronger. Not me stronger, them stronger. Because when people are feeling inner strength and they have strong tools, fundamental tools, they become stronger, they become more confident, they become more clear, and they become more strategic and less influenced. You always want to have critical thinking operating in your ways of being. And so when I teach that to my clients, 10, 20, 30 years later, they'll be sending me messages saying that, oh, I was on a bike ride and I thought of something you said. I rarely remember what I say in my sessions because I'm doing what's called present moment work. So I'm always present in the actual moment, and unless I'm writing something down, I won't remember it. But my clients write it down, they remember things. And the ripples are really about creating consciousness in the now moment that allows people to experience themselves in a way that has a positive effect on all of humanity, not just one person, but how that one person impacts another person. That's why I love working with families and teams. I love it. Just seeing if there's any questions. Okay. What drink are you drinking? You're drinking it yesterday too. Well, I'm having this thing. I think that's a good question. I am drinking yerba mate tea. It's an organic tea, and this has lemon flavor. And I don't normally drink out of aluminum. I haven't for probably 5 years, but I like this tea. It's been really refreshing, and I only buy it on sale because it's stupid expensive. So I'll get it when it's a little bit below half price, and I stock up. And usually when they go on sale, all the shelves are completely cleared here of them. But they're really good organic tea. Now you can make yerba mate tea on your own, and I did that for years. But what I noticed during the summer is I really prefer this. So that's what I'm drinking. Son of God, you're here. Yes. Good to see you here, Son of God. Happy to see you again too. In meditation time. Son of God is creating ripples at 19 years old, a profound young person here, making ripples in the world. I love it. Vic, what kind of clients do you have, if I may ask? I have all kinds of clients. Let's see. I have a lot of executives. That's what I've worked with for the last 20 years. When I started going public with my work, I now work with some people that are retired and transitioning and really wanting to align to their purpose. I work with people who maybe are in the field of psychology or in the medical field. Is a lot of the work that I've done. A lot of civil servant and government workers. Let's see, what other kind of entrepreneurs? I'm trying to think of mostly so those are the skills, like the types of work clients that they might be in. But honestly, I work with analytical people. I work with people who want to understand their energy field and really become their own healer. That's what I teach my clients to do, is just to really become their own healer. Because we all need to be able to heal ourselves. And if you don't understand the basic biology of your energy field, which most people don't, you can walk into consciousness traps. You can walk into all different kinds of consciousness traps that would rock your world. You can run into entities. You'll have entities in your field. You have people telling you voices. You'll have all kinds of dark things happening in your field. I think I work a lot. I think most of my clients that start with me and that keep coming back, they start with a crisis. So anxiety has been a big one for, I would say, my most recent clients. They have a lot of anxiety, and anxiety is really easy to address, in my opinion. Once people understand their energy field and understand how easy they can direct themselves with intuition and with intention, anxiety is not a thing anymore. And then most of the time, those clients tend to feel more confident, and then they want more confidence. So I teach them different ways in which they can build. Ultimately, if a client's working with me, I try to teach them their physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. I try to get all the vulnerabilities out of all of their bodies so they can really be stronger. I think, inner strength is is the key to what we're walking through in our world today. Do you have some wisdom for the youth? David is asking, do I have some wisdom for the youth? Well, what youth? How old are we talking there, David? I mean, ultimately, I think that I think a lot of the youth are more skilled at this type of work than average. Like when I used to go into the prisons, the youth prisons, and teach leadership and meditation. And let me tell you, these kids who are gangsters and murderers and rapists and been abused and have all kinds, they get meditation. And once they get meditation, they say it's better than LSD. They say it's better than any drug they ever taken. So it just takes somebody to teach people how to go within. And once they learn to go within, they get it. But it's like we're inundated with so many distractions that people really need to learn inner strength. So my tip for the youth is to learn to trust themselves. I think that's the biggest thing. When people trust themselves, they have greater confidence and they are not easily manipulated. And I think when people are more confident, they're okay with not going with the crowd. I think a lot of the kids get peer pressured, but when they have inner strength, that won't ever be something to worry about for the kids. Is that the youth, David, that you were talking about? Vic 47 is saying, do I think some people misuse meditation? I absolutely think many group meditations get infiltrated 100%. 100%. I won't say what big meditation group that my husband went to, but he went to a group meditation, and he came back with all kinds of, for lack of a better word, entities, dark forces, yucky things. It was gross. So unfortunately, a lot of these group meditations get infiltrated, and people don't know because they don't understand how their energy field becomes vulnerable in those groups. That's why when you go out to dinners, you go out to groups, you got to understand your energy field so you can clean it. You can't clean it if you don't know. So I hope you find that helpful. Oh, David, good. That was helpful for you. There's so many things. I think the youth, what would I say to the youth? I would say teaching them to trust themselves. And I would also say, because I'm looking at the adults. So when I'm working with, adults, typically they haven't cleared their, traumas. So I would say the biggest thing for children to understand and youth to understand is that their emotions are meant to be felt and not to be feared or afraid of. and that if they go in and learn to see, sense, and feel their feelings, they'll be more powerful. Sunny, you could keep it going. If you don't like what I'm saying, you could keep going. You don't have to watch here. I'm just here answering questions about creating ripples. Are there negative side effects with meditation? I suspect it depends on how you're meditating. Like if you're doing group meditations, there can be negative side effects to that. But if you're just meditating on your own, there's zero negative side effects. It's okay, Sunny. You don't have to stay if you don't like what I'm saying. And if you have nothing nice to say, you could keep it moving. Here's what I'll say about meditation and what I think is happening right now is there's a lot of apps out there that teach meditation. And these apps are causing people to go outside of themselves to get calm within. Now, on the surface, you don't think that's bad, but those apps can have manipulations in them that if you're not astute, if you're not attuned, and if you're not aware, you think that what you're doing is good. Like, I'm just going to listen to this app and I'm going to get calm. But you should not be dependent or reliant to get calm outside of yourself. Like even my clients, like I don't want my clients to be dependent on me. I want them to come because they're learning something new. They want to continue to expand. They want to grow. That's why I want my clients to come so they learn. I don't want them to be dependent on me. They should be learning from themselves and I can help them process things, but they're not dependent on me. They shouldn't be dependent on an app either. Meditation should be simple and easy. You can breathe and meditate. But if you can't calm your own mind, that's a problem. That's called a lack of mental discipline. And I think these apps, these meditation apps, not only can be easily infiltrated, but I think they can send out sound frequencies that if people aren't aware, they don't know that they're doing damage and they don't know that they're locking their brain signals into a solid pattern, which is never a good thing. Our brain should be firing and in organic ways, not inorganic. And if you're taking in regular meditation apps, they will lock you into a state of not going beyond a certain level of consciousness. To me, that's not a good thing. So I think it's okay every once in a while to listen to meditations outside of yourself, but not to be dependent on it. And I think you should be able to learn how to calm your own mind. I hope that's okay. I'm being very direct. People treat meditation as a drug, which is wrong. I think people don't know how to explain their experience of being calm oftentimes. So to them, their only experience of calmness would be like a drug. So like I've used a description of conscious breathing being like meditation on steroids. Like it's like a next level. Steroids are something that like amp your muscles up, while conscious breathing will amp up your meditation. So a lot of people don't understand that food is drugs. Like everything is altering our mind. So that's why we need to be really mindful about what we are taking in physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Christo is asking, how much time do I need to meditate daily? And what time? And Christo, I think, this is my personal opinion, I think people get wrapped up in dogmas and rigidness when it comes to meditation. You can go for a walk and just have the intention to be in your heart space for 5 minutes, or to just notice what you notice on your walk, and like make notes of your awarenesses. Meditation doesn't have to be done every day at the same time. Like when I was first coming into meditation, I would start with 5 minutes of breathing. And that's what I did. They didn't have apps back when I was meditating. Um, that's how long I've been doing this. I did it just to explore myself differently. And then I would go from 5 minutes to 6 minutes, and from 6 minutes to 7 minutes, and I would slowly increase the increment. I do experiments with meditation to see what feels best to me, what feels right. I'll do different breathing exercises depending on what I'm going through, what I'm working on energetically. I think it's important to explore and find what works for you for where you're at. I don't think there's a wrong way to meditate, but I think if you listen to your self, you will find something that works best for you. I think just sitting still for 5 minutes is a great start. I don't think you need to make yourself do 20, 30 minutes. Although what you will find if you do it long enough is that eventually you're going to get to that point where you reach like this euphoria, and then you'll be chasing the euphoria. And that's what a lot of people are chasing in meditation. But then once you get your systems in alignment, you live in euphoria. Like you don't need to be in meditation because you realize that life is a meditation, that life is spiritual, that it's not about using meditation to get connected. You are connected, and it's how are you connecting with others from that space of connection. I hope that makes sense to you. Son of God says, from my experience, when you are physically, mentally, and spiritually ready for a guru, a teacher, it will appear. Well, there's a lot of false gurus and a lot of false teachers out there, and they appear, let me tell you. So choose wisely. You could go watch my video on manipulation and you could see I got worked out, I got screwed. And it's because I trusted somebody else over myself. And that lesson was brutal. And you could see from the manipulation video that I did, and I think it's a 2-part series. And I also talk about how entities can take over in that video, because it makes your work a lot harder. So I would say choose your teachers wisely, and this one criteria would be most helpful is make sure that whoever you're listening to, that they're guiding you back to you, that you are the decider, you are the chooser. You shouldn't have a teacher that is choosing or deciding everything for you and telling you this is the only way. There's many ways. I don't search for my guru. I had a strong wish for universe can hear anything. I would say don't pray to the universe, pray to God, pray to source, pray to Christ consciousness, but do not pray to the universe. But everything is available to us. How many, Christo's asking, how many minutes I have to meditate daily? Listen to your higher self. What is your inner guidance telling you? Do you need 5 minutes, 10 minutes? You know, there are times where I'm doing cleanses. I will do 20 minutes 3 times a day. It just depends on what's going on with you. How are you in a state of crisis? Are you, if you're in a state of crisis, you might meditate more, not less. Like I just had an insight today that I wanted to go do a tea ceremony this week. And that's not something I normally do, and it's a totally different kind of meditation, and it really follows like more of a Buddhism type of a practice, and I found it to be very insightful. I'll be giving you guys details about that again. But I did a video on the tea ceremony if you want to go look. It was so brilliant. Christo, I've never done meditation. I have a 10-minute meditation on this YouTube, so go look at it. I teach, the one I teach in that for 10 minutes is for high stress. So it's 2 breaths in through the nose and exhale out the mouth. and I actually do it with you. So you could go check on that. But this is not a meditation channel. This is about an alignment channel, and meditation is an avenue to alignment. Intention is an avenue to alignment. Cameron says, meditating deeply releases massive amounts of natural opioids and endorphins, etc. Cameron says, my dad knew Osho. Osho? And I've seen, see, Cameron, the information I have about Osho is not very much, but I heard that was a cult, which it could have been initially just a nice, I think they say most New Age things are cults these days. So I don't know if that's true or not. Somebody is saying, Rajit, I don't know if I'm saying your name right. You are talking about meditation, but I guess you never heard about those 101 miraculous ladders of wisdom by Osho. No, I don't follow Osho. In fact, I've never followed a teacher about meditation until maybe, I think, 12 years ago. I did follow Sadhguru. If you guys know Sadhguru, I did his Kriya for probably 4.5, 5 years solid every single day. And that's the only person that I followed meditation for any period of time from. And that was a traditional yoga Kriya, which here in the United States, people don't really understand that yoga is not really about working out. For exercise, it's really about going within. So Sadhguru teaches in his inner engineering about traditional kriyas. And I found it to be really good and supportive. Thomas is saying he's a vegetarian. Congratulations. I think food, people need to really listen to their bodies. Because when I was going through major detox, if I wasn't absorbing nutrients, like my food, my body, and when people are very toxic, their bodies will not recognize nutrients the same way as maybe somebody who's been vegetarian their whole life. So you really just got to learn to listen to your body, because there's a lot of very unhealthy vegans and vegetarians, and I'm not for labeling what I am. I am my identity is not in alignment with labeling how I consume my food. I think that really limits us. Just my personal opinion. Cameron says, anything addictive can be considered a drug. True. I mean, look, people judge everything. So, you don't have to. I don't think that when you're being intentional, you're not going to do anything that's addictive, right? So when you're consciously being intentional, that's the whole point of being intentional, is that you're consciously setting intentions regularly, every day. And if you do my intention setting class that I have for free on here, you will see, like, as you build your strength with intention, you get more clear about what it is that you want to create for yourself, because we are co-creators. So when you are creating ripples in the environment, in your field, you want to create ripples of positivity, of love, of compassion, of kindness, and humanity. That's what I want to do. That's why I created this channel, just so people didn't feel alone. That's why I put being bullied by your family up on there. I wanted to share my story because I wanted people who were bullied to not feel alone. Cameron is saying, not like Walgreens drugstores. Okay. Thomas is saying, I meditate 5 hours a day, but I space it out. Wow, that's a real discipline, Thomas. 5 hours a day is a real discipline. I bet you are really finding a deep knowing of who you are in that time. Congratulations to you. Cameron is saying, I weed out tryptophans like shrooms and natural stuff, etc. I'm not a mushroom person. It gives me a headache, actually. Alan is saying, I'm not sure about meditation, but I do have suicidal thoughts. Okay, Alan, first of all, I want you to understand that you are not alone. And I've worked with a lot of people with suicide, but I'm not a doctor and I'm not a therapist. But what I will say is that you are not your thoughts. So, what I would suggest if you are having suicidal thoughts is that you deeply and intentionally connect with your heart and also connect with God, source energy, creator. I don't know which three you like or which one of those words that you align with, but pick one that aligns with you and connect deeply from your heart to creator energy and ask God to show you the way out, and you will be shown. But those thoughts are not organic. Those thoughts that people are talking to are not, a lot of people are having thoughts that are inorganic and suicidal. Those are not who you are. So notice those aren't your thoughts. Notice how you normally think, and then notice, oh, those thoughts might pop in, and know, oh, that's not who I am. I'm in connection to God. And you put your hand on your heart and you touch your hand on your heart and you breathe. God, and you ask for God, creator, source energy, to show you the way out. Dear God, show me the way out of this situation. And you will be shown. Okay. Rajit is saying, if you listen to Osha, it doesn't feel like you need any meditation. I think meditation, it just depends on, you know, this is the thing, is that nobody should be telling anybody else what they need. They would say suggestion. But, when people are in disconnection, they don't need a guru. What they need is to connect within their heart. And that connection, when you are deeply connected in your heart, you will not be as easily manipulated. Like the manipulation of these people hearing these thoughts, like this person that's posted here so bravely, and so thank you for your comment. These thoughts are not who you are. They don't know that they're not their own thoughts. Suicide is not a solution. It is not an answer. It is a misdirection. And so that misdirection is a signal to create a new alignment within and go into your heart. Anybody that says everybody needs to listen to themselves. Does meditation help? Yes. Do you need meditation? No. I think every day should be like a meditation. But if somebody is wanting to do meditation 5 hours a day, more power to them if they have that time. And that is going to create a commitment and inner strength and a mental discipline. More power to them. Why would you criticize that? Cameron says, I like walking meditation in nature. Yeah, walking, anything in nature, right? I could literally sit in nature and just watch the animals, and even here, I see the lizards everywhere, and I just love to observe. I think observation is so brilliant. Son of God, 80s and 90s, I think people used to get high using white noise. I did a video on white noise, and actually white noise is used for paranormal activity, and you get trapped into the dimension, I guess. What white noise does is, number one, is it stops your brain waves from operating in optimal ways, number one. And as we know, our brain waves create and are always talking to every single system. So that's when people will start to have neurological issues and comprehension issues, and also tension in their muscles. There's a lot of things that white noise can do that's not supportive, but people are not comfortable with their own thoughts. And that's the reason why they have the white noise, right? They don't know how to get themselves calm. I do think the trapped, I wouldn't say we'll trap them in a dimension so much it'll trap them in a lower frequency. Yes. So that could be a dimension too. Yeah, I agree with you, Son of God. Cameron, like one of the few enlightened people that made themselves known in the public, like Eckhart Tolle. David, what is my opinion on dream analysis? Well, my grandmother was really skilled at dreams. I would say I'm proficient, but not an expert. I would say that dreams are a way in which we could do a lot of healing, do a lot of work in our dreams. But a lot of people are getting infiltrated in their dreams because they don't know how energy works. But we are travelers. And when you are dreaming, that's a multi-dimensional, multi-level traveling. And how spiritual healing works is it doesn't work in linear ways. And I think when people try to do dream interpretation, they try to make it linear and how their mind works. But dreams are not linear. Nothing spirituality is linear, okay? So what I would say about dream analysis is like, it really depends on the interpretation. It's just like tarot cards. Tarot cards are cards, you know, and it's always going to be based on the interpretation. So I would say that dreams are often symbolic. So I would look at symbology, and I would look at what is the dream trying to teach you. So if I have a really powerful dream, like oftentimes I'll write it down, or oftentimes I do a lot of healing in my dreams, a lot of clearing. I set intentions before I go to dreams. I set my field before I go to sleep. So I think it's important for us to understand that there are frequencies being pumped through the ethers, that if you don't have your field in alignment, that your dreams will be infiltrated. So oftentimes when you're dreaming of things that you think you're dreaming of, it's not really what you think. And there are imposter energies that come into people's dreams, and there's dark forces that come into people's dreams. So I think, it's your consciousness. You are the one who needs to guard it. You're your own guardian. Somebody's saying, how often do I clean out my fridge? Every week. Everything outside is the soul is reflected outward. Everything outside is the soul reflected outward. Cameron, I think this is a bigger question than you are aware. So the soul can be fragmented and shattered and stolen. And there's a lot of people whose souls have been taken over, which is why people might be suicidal. So you want to call back all your soul fragments. And when all your soul fragments are in, you will feel different. You will feel something in your body differently. Then you need to start to integrate your soul into your way of being. But ultimately, we live in what's called a holographic universe, right? So we're all holographs, just like you're watching this on video, right? So I'm having a physical experience, but things can be projected into your physical experience. They're called holographic inserts. So you want to understand that your holograph is your responsibility and you must claim it. If you don't claim it, it can be infiltrated. So that's number one. Number two, the outside is reflective of the inner world, not the other way around. So the inner world reflects the outside, not the outside reflecting in. The outside reflecting in is called a reversal energy. And I've talked about that a lot on here. Hi, Zir. Good to see you here. Okay, I'm going to take my channel off. Okay, Cameron, Andrew Tate is a real, I don't know what you're saying. I think I lost that. Okay. Andrew Tate is a real badass. I don't know. He's getting really, really attacked, that's for sure. All right, Zier, good to see you. Thank you. Vic, 47, is saying, thank you for your advice. He has to go now. See you later. Thanks, Vic, for being here. I appreciate you. Thanks for your question. Just seeing if there's any questions here. Rashav's taking antidepressants. I'm sorry that you're taking antidepressants. As I said, I'm not a doctor or a therapist, but I would say with my experience with antidepressants, most of my clients that were on antidepressants are now off. However, most of the time with those antidepressants, they just cause you to need more because they actually create a disconnection within your bodies. So I'd really start focusing on doing the conscious breathing, and I would really start focusing on connecting to God, creator, source energy, and calm your mind down so you understand that you don't need even a pill to calm you, because those medicines have some severe side effects. And if you read the side effects, most of my clients were experiencing all of the side effects. So, Zier, all right, kudos, Morocco. I have heard, Mike is asking, have I heard of Alexander Crowley? Yes, I have, but I don't know much about him. I haven't listened to him. These altered states of consciousness. Yes. Soldier Boy, hey, son of God. Some people say 1 hour meditation, but 30 minutes or so is good enough. 15 minutes in the morning, 15 in the evening. It varies each kind of meditation. If you do pranayama, 5 minutes for beginners, I think it really, you got to listen to yourself. There's no prescriptive way to do meditation. You got to listen and see what resonates with you. This is turning into a meditation chat. I didn't realize that. I need some acid and DMT. Well, we're not serving that here. Sorry that you feel like you need that. Hey, my mind is not stable. It keeps going here and there, and sometimes I think I should be simple man and small, with small earnings. Sometimes I think to become rich. How can I set my life goal? Please assist. Well, stability always comes from within. So my first suggestion is to do an assessment, do a self-assessment, you know. What in your life is working? Make a short list. What is working that you're doing? And make another list. What is not working? Make another list. What's not stable? What's working? What's not working? And then you start making decisions from that list. And what you want to do is eventually your list of what's not working will get smaller and your what's working will get bigger. And do a regular review. I would say if you're unstable, I would say that your awareness needs to be heightened. So I would say do that list every week. So when you have the list of what's not working, just pick one thing on that list that's not working that you're going to change. What's the one thing that you're going to change that's not working? So let's just say it's not working that I don't have any exercise in my life. I don't take walks. I'm not in nature. So the commitment is then next week you're going to get out in nature. Okay, I'm going to go out into nature 3 times a week and see if that works for you. And And that's how you start to, one, increase your awareness, two, create baseline, and three, understand what is working and what is not working. Somebody who is unstable is always going to look at all the instabilities over what's working. So that's why it's important to get out of your mind and put things on paper so you can make clear, critical thinking choices that move you in the direction of feeling better. I hope that helps you. Son of God is saying, observing your thoughts is kind of a meditation, Alan. I would say correct, Son of God, but when people are having, they're essentially like looping ripples, and like as a telepath, I can feel them. So it's quite miserable, and it's really just a lack of discipline. And although observing your thoughts is exceptionally helpful, so I think that's good advice, I would say just even breaking it down even to a smaller spot in observing, what are you doing? What are your behaviors? What are you doing that's working? What are you doing that's not working? Because oftentimes people are not sure that they're even observing properly. So get out of the head is really important and onto paper. Mike is saying women are naturally more caring. I don't know. I've met some really, really awful women. Really mean. I've met more mean women than I have men. So how about that? So that's just my experience. Matterson is saying, why don't you try in modeling like Victoria's Secret angels? Yeah. That's not what this channel's about. Okay. I'm just going to see if there's any questions here. I don't know. Oh, I've been on here almost an hour. Son of God, do you believe in spirits, evil spirits, demons, and lower entities? Do I believe in them? Son of God, let me say this. I do not, I believe in oneness. I believe in Christ consciousness. I believe in source energy. I believe we are all co-creators. I also understand that there are dark forces out there. So I will say I am aware that evil spirits, demons, and lower entities absolutely exist. A lot of energies have lost their way from Creator and need assistance going back. But I do not believe in anything other than what I shared with you. Women dream more than men. I don't know. I only know my dreams. My husband dreams a lot. McLovin, well, the agenda of this original stream was about creating ripples, but a lot of the questions in the chat have been about meditation. Michelle Huntley is saying, how do you set your field before you go to sleep? Oh my gosh, Michelle. The most fundamental thing is that you must have a sleep intention. Now, what I do is going to be more complex than most because I create a field. So I have a field around my house. I have rules of engagement to come into my space. And then I have, I obviously manage all my energy fields. So I have my own personal cylinder, so I can see, sense, and feel what's happening within my field, which is what I've taught my clients that come back to me repeatedly, that they can manage their own field by doing this as well. I set an intention before I go to sleep, so I like to work on myself energetically. And last night I was clearing black magic. So I think it just depends on what it is that you're working on. I would say, since you want to connect more with your heart, I would make an intention to connect deeply with your heart, to know yourself fully, to align with God. Those are great intentions. You can't go wrong with those. But to not set an intention is to leave yourself open and vulnerable. So the first thing I do when I'm working with my clients, especially in the peace program, is I'm working on clearing all the vulnerabilities in their bodies, energetic bodies, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. The peace program, you cannot have peace if you're vulnerable, if you have rips in your energy field and you don't know that. You mentioned sometimes people have mentioned about things coming into their body. That's not okay, but you go into agreement with that. So you are the one that has to be able to cut those agreements and realign yourself. But if you don't know what you're in agreement with, if you're seeing, sensing, and feeling things, and they come into your field and you didn't kick them out, then you're in agreement with it. So you got to really be mindful of what you're going into agreement with, because a lot of energies will make your body their home. So single soul occupancy is super important. You want to be single soul occupied. Okay, McLovin is saying, I always dream of falling in. Oh, my husband had that too. McLovin always dreamed of failing in exams or getting embarrassed in front of my crush. What does that mean? Huh. My husband had that too, and I cleared it for him, but only, and I didn't clear it for him until he asked. But if you're having the same pattern repeatedly, what I would ask yourself is, what is it that you need to heal? What does an exam mean? It means failing. That means a lack of self-esteem, a lack of, like my husband would dream not of failing, but of taking exams. That means he's constantly, and trust me, he used to test me all the time. He used to joke about it, say, oh, I'm testing you. I was like, don't test me, I don't fail. Like it's not even, you're not testing me, you're testing yourself. I would work on acceptance, McLovin. So I would set an intention to be in pure acceptance of yourself, of your body, of your soul, of your spirit. That's what I would suggest, McLovin. Takum says, McLovin, it means you are insecure about your sexual performance. Takum does not know what they're talking about. That's not very nice, and it's not true. It just means that you need to look at, what do you need to learn, right? It's about accepting yourself. Because once you're in pure acceptance, then you don't need to do the tests anymore. Zir is saying, my beloved, you took all of my heart and you left me nothing. Okay. McLovin, I agree with you. That is not true. McLovin, yes, this is live. Okay. I'm just seeing if there's any. Sadif is saying, Muslims pray 5 times a day. We do not need any meditation to discipline our thoughts or connect with God. What happens if you don't pray 5 times a day? Does that go against something? I suspect it does. I think that any rules need to be broken, because that's not really free. Zir, I'm a lion, but I give up in front. Thank you so much for telling me about an unstable mind. So nice of you. I hope it was helpful. Okay, I'm just going to see. Michelle, good. Was that helpful, Michelle? I'm just going to see if there's any questions here. Son of God, I respect your opinion, but if there is good, there is also bad. Right, but you have to be in alignment with both. And if you're seeing both, there is learning. And so you do not want to go into agreement with the lower frequency, right? Okay, all right, Michelle, I'm so glad. All right, well, this chat was almost an hour, and I think we created some nice ripples here. We have somebody that is going to work on creating more stability in his life. I hope you come back and tell us how that helped you. Um, I don't know if if there was a question here I missed, I don't see it. So put the question back in here. Um, so creating ripples is always going to start from intention. And if you are being intentional to align yourself within, to speak and work and honor your heart, you are going to create ripples that go beyond you. This is why I have people that reach out to me, clients that reach out 10, 20 years later, 50 years, not 50 years, 20 years at least, and say they go back and read my emails and such. So you want to create ripples of positivity, and those ripples will always lead people back to themselves. Now, they're thanking me for helping them find themselves. They're not really thanking me for anything else that I did, because I didn't do anything for them but guide them back to themselves. So I'm just going to see if I see the question here. The Fat Muppet, I don't see your question. Oh. All right, y'all. I hope you have a great day. I am Kiana Sage, and I guide people to peace. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. I do these lives anywhere from 12 to 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time every day. All right, so it's a big window, but thank you for being here. Son of God, so honored that you all were here. Sam, so good to see you again. Michelle, thank you so much. Eric, always joining us. Manish, thank you so much from India. Take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye.